All right, we'll give a minute or so here before we really get into it. We are in Tennessee still,
Yep.
hopefully for another day, day and a half, and then we'll be on our way to our next job.
Still in Tennessee.
Still in Tennessee,
I don't
but
remember where that one's at though.
not in Nashville anymore. We had a really crazy long day today. Let us know if it's coming through good, just so we know if the streaming quality is okay here tonight. I can't, of course, read that. Nova Scotia. Well, hello. Los Angeles. Nice. Thank you for letting us know that's coming through good. Oh, we got 60 people already. That's crazy. Okay. Today started out a little bit crazy. Right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler had to work on Lance's bus some, and I was going to be working on Bill's bus, the Eagle. So I needed to take a belt tensioner that we're having fabbed up. So I took it to Iconic Machine Works, where we were just at
Metalworks.
Metalworks. Damn it. Oh man. So I took it over to him today, where we were just at yesterday. He does amazing work, and we took him that tensioner pulley. He fabbed it up, $65. Crazy.
It's his hourly rate.
Crazy.
He's way too low for the work he does.
Yeah. And you guys see that T-Bird that he's got for sale? That's a nice car. The interior on it, I couldn't show it, but it is beautiful. It's immaculate inside that thing. Hopefully he'll sell that soon.
Even I was looking today closer at the sheet metal bodywork he did.
On the other T-Bird.
Yeah, I never realized those first generation T-Birds. The fenders don't bolt on that car; they're welded into the body. He had to replace both fenders on that car.
What'd you say, Kelly? Oh, hey, Shelly. So we went today to look at property in Tennessee. And we originally were looking for like 5 to 10 acres. And we really found this amazing spot, which we'll post some video of it at some point here soon. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be moving home base down here to Tennessee. So that'll be really cool. So that was a long day for that. And then our realtor on the way back, she got a flat tire. Her tire blew out.
Yeah, it blew the sidewall right out of it.
But in a place where she didn't have cell phone service, so it took us like an hour to find her, to help her out. And then after everything, her spare tire was flat.
Yep.
Check your spare tires.
No one ever does.
And then she had her blinkers on for so long that her car wouldn't start.
And we didn't have jumper cables in the car with us, and she didn't have them in her Suburban. So we had to drive her back to town to go buy a set of jumper cables for her Suburban.
It was crazy.
And then we got stuck behind a pair of Macs, which, have you ever driven like a Mac Granite Series truck? They're really slow. They don't like hills.
They were very heavy through a lot of hills. It took forever to get home. And then we caught the Nashville afternoon traffic.
You're an hour from anywhere in Nashville traffic.
Yeah, you're an hour to go 8 miles kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a good time. We did get some decent Thai food, though.
And then Lance called me in a panic because the 4106 has a major oil leak that he's never seen before from the middle of the bus.
That was a good one.
And he's like, how is it leaking from the middle of the bus? We still don't know how it's leaking from the middle of the bus, but we're 99% sure it's not engine oil. I'm 100% sure it's not engine oil.
Yeah, I am
too. It's in the middle of the bus.
It's also nowhere near the consistency of engine oil.
But poor Bill just had his driveway seal coated the day that we got here, and whatever it is that leaked on there, it is eating up the seal coating. So that's why when you touch it, it looks black, but it's because the seal coat stuff that's on there. So that was crazy. But we think what it is, he's got an old gas tank on there that Lance has never put gas in that thing ever, and I think that gas tank is leaking because where it's at, it's below that, and we don't see anything leaking above it. So we think that gas tank's leaking. So tomorrow we're gonna pull. He said there's a bung on the bottom there. I didn't see it, but I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I don't doubt there is. If not, we'll make one.
But we're gonna have a big container under there because we don't have any idea what's in that thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like gas, but old gas doesn't smell like gas anyway. So.
No, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. By the way, it's eating everything around it.
It's nasty. So we did that, and then Lance picked up the machine part that we got back from Iconic Metal Works.
Yes.
Got it right.
You've been there twice in 2 days.
Yes.
You interviewed them.
Oh, man.
Before we keep going here, too, any questions you have, please post them in all caps. If you've already posted them and they weren't in all caps, repost it because that's what we look for when we go through our questions.
Yeah, and I've not seen a single question go by yet because
I saw one, but
A, I'm too far away, and B, I didn't have these on.
just leave them on the whole time.
It's hard. Well, I'm like in that in range where it's in between where I can see and
Pick where it is, and we'll find a pillow or something to space you.
that's about what I need. Okay, all right. I'm gonna scroll back through some of these here. Get back here, kind of to the beginning.
Well, we have mom.
Oh, she's not gonna do that though.
There she is. She's on the street.
How many buses do we own? I only own the one, and then we're gonna go look at a bus for Tyler in a week and a half, 2 weeks ish, before Christmas. So you're gonna say the questions like that, Kelly? No. Oh. She said no.
I thought she was.
Somebody saying he wouldn't pay $5,000 for that dash. That dash was amazing that he did, though. Yeah, obviously he wouldn't. But if somebody wanted something custom fab like that, you don't even
pay $5,000.
You have no idea how many man hours went into that thing. That's insane.
All of that was flat sheet metal. He cut, rolled, stretched, shrunk every inch of that dashboard.
Yeah,
that's a ton of work and a lot of craftsmanship.
Yeah. So the property. Am I allowed to say where it's near, Kelly?
No.
I'm not allowed to say that word. It's a really funny name.
Nope. Don't even.
Okay. How long have I had the silver size? Is there more questions before this? I should probably go back.
No.
Could have said that before I scrolled away from it.
I said no as you were doing it.
Okay. Yeah. What was the question they just asked?
How long have you owned your silver sides? Jesus.
I don't remember. 6 years? Something like that?
I lived up north when you did it.
Yeah, I want to say 6 years probably.
Because I had to drive down from Chicago for that trip.
Yeah.
There you are. There was the question right there.
Okay, found it. Sorry, I apologize. I'm a little bit special. If you move, will Tyler be moving too? Yes, Tyler's going to move too.
Yep, I'll probably actually move first.
Yeah, and he's going to be working for Lance part-time or be like on call for Lance kind of thing, or have Lance as a retainer kind of thing. So that's going to help him be able to move here. I don't need to have my big old head so close to the thing, but I got to be able to see. I don't know what that person is referring to.
The realtor story?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the traffic in Nashville today was absolutely ridiculous. It was even ridiculous at like 10:30 in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, like 10 o'clock in the morning, I had to stop work so we could go drop that part off. And we just got back, and it's almost 7.
Okay. All right, are we back up? Sorry about that. Hopefully, we might have too many people connected to the booster right now. That might be the problem. We'll see how it goes. Who is Kelly and who is Tyler? Sorry, I'm new to the channel. This is Tyler, who's next to me, who's my son. And Kelly, Kelly's my wife. Oh, we had a super chat. I didn't even see that. Thank you, Jerry Corman. Hey guys, finally had a chance to join the chat. And work is busy. You guys work well together. Scott, I feel your pain regarding glasses. If you're are you planning on working more together? Yeah, we have some. Well, this all the way until Christmas. We're going to be together, the two of us, on this trip. So Kelly, I think, is going to go to the next stop with us, and then possibly the next one after that. And then the two of us guys are just going off for the next ones.
Which only need one more after that, the AV92 build.
And then looking at your bus to buy, and then if we have a chance to do my power steering, but I don't think that's going to be able to happen, honestly, the way things are looking. This job here just took a little bit too long. What's a 4905 GMC worth running? Is it got a conversion? Is it stripped out? Is it seated? I would say running, driving, no less than 5 to 15. If it's got an automatic in it, maybe put it on the high end. If it's got a nice conversion, 20, 25. But I've seen some that are worth, that really nice Buffalo we worked on this summer. I think that guy paid like 75 grand for that bus.
What did the custom coach one sell for? Did we sell
that one? That thing was like 55 grand or 60 grand.
And I feel like that's the nicest one I've ever seen.
Super nice, low miles.
Wasn't it a short wheelbase though or something?
It didn't have a tag. Some of them have a tag.
Oh.
Did you ever have an engine brake? Did 671 ever have engine brake? Well, they have Jake brakes, which we've got my Jake brakes. I'm looking for a valve cover still for mine. So inline 671 Jake brake valve cover I'm looking for. If anybody's got one, let me know. Is Lenny getting tired of the cold weather? No, I'm glad I got the propane furnace fixed. That's a huge benefit right now. And I have not installed the diesel-fired heater yet, mostly because this one doesn't want to help me do it.
Thanks for throwing me out there.
Well, how many times have I asked you to help me do it? Let's do this. Let's install it. Let's install. Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah. Have you seen my list of my projects I haven't got to yet? I've had a flatbed for like 8 months to put on my truck.
Yeah, but you're on the bus. You're stuck here. There's nothing else to do. It's either take a nap or help me do something.
One of those sounds a lot better. No, Tennessee Diesel's already. Tennessee Mobile Diesel, maybe. I don't know. I actually started looking at names today that are taken in the state. Figure out a new name for the shop when it moves.
You didn't like any of my suggestions, which I can't repeat here.
No. None of those are going to be my business name day.
What do you like for lubing the differentials? Well, like a 85 140, something like that.
75 140.
They're all about the same. They make both.
Oh, 75 W140 is what I put in just about everything.
Yeah. Something in that range. You don't want to put an 80 90 in there. At least that's not what the book calls for on these. And I try to use a synthetic whenever I can, just because I love synthetic stuff. Somebody's saying, why isn't Overbuilt Automotive showing? He is. I did everything I can to help him. You said he wasn't showing up last time in there. I went into our blocked persons list, and that dude's name is not in there. And then I specifically went in and added him to our blocked persons list, and then removed him from our blocked persons list just to see if that somehow freed something up. So if he's not showing up, it's not because of us. It's something else with YouTube. I do not have him blocked. So if he's not, I'm sorry. You have to create another profile or something. I don't understand how YouTube works.
Unless YouTube has actually blocked him from being able to put comments in.
I don't know. Where can I find a silver side? I don't know. You gotta look, but there's a bunch out there. Yeah, I have not. I haven't looked anywhere for the valve cover yet, other than I just kind of put some feelers out. And somebody did post something on my on our Bus Grease Monkey forum about contacting some Mennonites there that have a bunch of stuff. I haven't had time to call anybody though, so I was kind of hoping somebody would just reach out to me that had one and I could get it. Clifford had a set of 12 V71, but they're both chrome, and he didn't want to split up the set, so I asked him how much for both of them, and he didn't reply to me yet, as far as I know, with a price. He's gonna get the one we're gonna look at is the silver sides if we get it.
Go back. There's more questions back.
Sorry. So asking for a second time, gonna try to start my 4104 project soon. You need to have 2 batteries, 1 start and 1 house to do that. You probably need 2 batteries on just your start, period.
Yeah.
Depending on what they are. You could probably start with 1 8D, but if you're using like Group 31s or something, you definitely need 2. One's not gonna cut it. And it depends on the condition of your battery cables and everything like that too. So
yeah, I always say at least 2 batteries to start something this big. I mean, it may only be 7 liters. Well, 4104, right?
Yeah.
So it's only 7 liters, but you're still compressing every stroke, and you have a lot of parasitic draw through it. They're not easy to turn over.
Oh man, my back is killing me sitting like this. We've been in the car way too long today. That Nashville traffic. I'm so glad that where we are getting property is nowhere near Nashville. This thing just jumped ahead like a mile on me here.
Keep going back up. I'll tell you when you're there. Keep going.
No, I think, weren't we there?
Right. That's the next one right there. The short one.
Is the windshields and the side glass available? The windshield on a silver sides is just flat glass. So
Same with all the sides.
Yeah, but some of the side ones are double insulated. Those are kind of special. I've never had to have one reproduced. I've been able to find used ones for it. My door windows, they need to come out and get redone. They're a little sketchy. And I know some of you are really happy if you watch my video tonight. You see that window tint on the bottom of my driver's window is finally gone now. Oh, that thing is really cool. Did you like that? If you watched that video, isn't that system really cool? Man, if you watch the end of that, when I backed up next to this building, you could see that just perfectly down the side of the building, the trees. It's a really skinny, narrow area that I'm in, 2 feet or less of space on either side of the bus, and
you can barely swing the bay doors open.
Yeah, I just backed it right in like nothing. It was awesome. I love that camera system. Is really cool. I did just see another super chat. The guy in PA has your valve cover info on the Grease Monkey page for yours. Look in his comments. I talked to him yesterday. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll reach out to that guy then. That's the Mennonite dude. Is that what you're saying? He's got them. Did you ask him how much? I'm just curious.
There are more questions above his you missed.
I'll scroll back up just a second. I see somebody else just said, "Did we notice that we're over 70,000 subscribers looking at the property when we hit 70,000." I thought that was really cool. I think this is about where we were, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
We'll be back in Ohio in about a week.
Yes. Yeah, because we got that Cracker Box GMC truck that'll either be Sunday or Monday that we're gonna be working on.
It hasn't really be like a day job.
And it's been 20 to 30 years. I don't remember what it was, but whatever I said before is what the guy told me. But it's been a long time since it's run, so
that's Tennessee though.
Yes.
But after that, we're going straight to Ohio.
Right after that, yeah, and that should only be a one-day job to get that thing running, though. I got extra parts and everything. Should be okay. If it ran when it was parked, we should have that thing going. What was it?
Tyler, is your bus going to be same or newer than your dad's?
Yeah, I thought we answered that already. Is his bus gonna be the same? It's gonna be the same model. If it's newer, it'll only be 1 year newer. God, my back. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this live tonight.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. In what area of Tennessee? We're gonna be in the central Tennessee area.
I think it's called Middle Tennessee, but yeah.
Middle of Tennessee-ish, but
not in the city.
Somewhere between Memphis and Nashville-ish, right? Is that good?
Vaguely in that area. We don't want to say where it is exactly because...
Yeah, I don't want somebody to, we're just putting an offer in on it, so.
Yeah.
What a great muffler for Detroit Tuesday. What is a great muffler for a Detroit?
None.
Tuesday? Yeah.
No muffler at all. It's the best one. Turbo.
Yeah, I like what I have on there, right there.
You have a Banks Monster?
Yeah,
I think.
Banks Monster, yes. Hey, Sage is on here. How you doing, Sage? How's your bus?
I think Chris is going to pressure wash it today.
Oh, cool.
Today or tomorrow, weather permitting, they were above freezing, so he's going to do it.
Hopefully that's going well over there. So Chris is putting new leaf springs on it and everything over at Carter's Garage. If you don't subscribe to him, make sure you do. I haven't seen any videos from him posted lately, though. Has he been posting videos?
No, he's been really busy lately.
Okay. Without the blue tent, how are you gonna know it's not Lenny? Yeah, that tent that came it came with it, and it was actually on the top like that too of both windows. Oh, William Oswald, $10 for the swear jar.
I used that up in about 20 seconds today.
Thank you, William. I almost missed that. Oh, sorry. I really do appreciate the super chats, especially now that we're buying property. I have some pretty big expenses coming up. My husband also had the valve covers. We're in Canada. If you don't get them, okay, cool. Rachel, thank you. Yeah, I haven't scrolled through and seen if he posted a price yet. Excuse me while I'm dying. Oh, my back. Oh, he didn't ask how much. 4-valve takeoff head with jake brakes. Okay. Yeah, so I need the head doesn't, the 2-valve, 4-valve doesn't matter, but I just need it for the jake brakes because it's taller. And I'd prefer the cast aluminum, not the stamped steel ones. I guess I won't be beggars can't be choosers. If it's a good deal, I'll get either and then deal with it if it leaks oil.
I think you just need to have someone custom make the spacer so you can run your current valve cover.
I don't want to get rid of it, and that's my plan. There was a guy that I talked to who had a CNC machine in Texas that was willing to make me a valve cover earlier this year. So if I get a chance to go down there when we're in Texas, maybe I'll take the other one, and if he can help machine me that adapter, that would be the best overall scenario. Because Joe signed that one that actually has a sentimental value to me. So, oh yeah, I was just getting ready to that one. So yeah, that camera system's like $1,700. I think for what we do here, though, for me, I've never banged a door or anything, but I've always very, very cautious on backing up and maneuvering around things. And a lot of times I'll make Kelly get out and walk along the side of the bus. Now I don't necessarily have to do that as much. And
if you smash a bay door, it's going to cost you more than the camera
way
system.
Way more than that. So on these vintage buses where these parts are like really hard to get, or you're not going to get one as nice as what you had, or it's not going to match, it's well worth it to have that. And I would assume that insurance companies should probably give you a cheaper rate. They probably don't, but I think they should.
Also, Silver Sides, if you've ever driven one, the mirrors are terrible.
They are
You
terrible.
can't see a damn thing out of this bus if you look down them. The mirrors maybe stick that far off the body because the front of the bus curve is where they're mounted.
Yeah. Did I just see? We have another super chat. Let me get to that. Ryan. No, yeah, Ryan. Keep the great videos coming. I miss wrenching old trucks and diesels. Yeah, we're gonna.
Old truck in a couple days.
Yeah, that truck in a couple days. I'm really looking forward to that project.
It's one of my favorite trucks in general for an old two-stroke truck.
I just got to get this Eagle finished up with this fan hub, which I haven't really been working hard. Most of it's between the fabricator and just telling him what to do in a couple hours a day. Just trying to get this done. But I think tomorrow we should be able, hopefully either tomorrow or first thing Saturday, we'll have that, hopefully the Eagle all finished up. So I overbuilt did use some did use the sort from of the world transmission chatters. Do not try that. It hates it. I'm not sure what he's saying. I'm sorry. Do you understand what that is, Tyler?
Oh, he might have been using a different word that it picked up and kicked on. Remember we were having problems with that before?
No.
So, transmission is fine. Trans is fine. But if you say tranny, it'll kick the word back.
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you use the word tranny, the YouTube software doesn't like that word.
It grabs it and kicks you out at that point. That's not something we do. That's something Google does through this.
Yeah, so Kelly has to actually approve them. I think they show up hidden on her screen and she can do it.
They might for a while, but if YouTube or Google keeps catching you doing it, they might just take away your commenting privileges.
That could be too, yeah. They might think it's some kind of hate speech or something like that.
Someone asking about the two-speed
Oh,
diffs.
Two Feathers.
We still haven't found a two-speed diff bus.
Yeah, I haven't. Two Feathers says he got his Silver Side started up. That's cool.
Did you get that super chat? Or is that the one we already read?
Yes. Yes, we read that one.
Okay.
Somebody here is asking about explain how the positive ground on a bus works. It works exactly the same as a negative ground. It's just everything's switched around the other way.
Yeah.
Literally, the positive cable attaches to the body, and then the ground cable is always isolated, just like you keep the positive
isolated.
now, and then completes the circuit that way. So, and you can have a positive and negative ground system on the same bus. My friend Dan had a 4104 with that generator. He kept the positive ground on the engine side of everything, and he ran his house system off of negative ground. He just couldn't use the same alternator to charge it. So he had a separate alternator that was put on there, and he had a positive ground bus chassis system and a negative ground house system on his bus. They're not hooked into the same batteries, so it's completely separate. It doesn't know that the other ones are there. Oh, Rachel says free, so just pay for shipping. Yeah, that would be awesome if we could work that out.
I know they comment a lot on my channel. If you guys want to send a message to my Facebook or Instagram for Indiana Diesel, we can get in touch with you there. It's kind of difficult to get through to Dad on his phone.
Yeah, my phone, I've had to switch my phone where it doesn't even ring now unless you're in my contacts list. So if you're calling me and my voicemail says to text me first, so I'll try to sort through the text. But yeah, and I get so many emails a day. It is pretty insane. Everybody who watches the channel who's buying a new bus or thinking about buying a new bus will send me a message. And there's just no way for me to respond to them all. I would spend all day trying to do that. So I feel bad. That's a downside to the success of the YouTube channel.
But that's what the Q&As are for here.
But yeah, I try. And I don't, if I skip your question on here and it's like way up the list, I'm not going back. So ask again. If I didn't skip it on purpose, I'm not reading something and saying, oh, I'm not going to answer that.
It resets on us, so we have to keep scrolling back up.
Yeah, and then
so far down in the
my
comments.
eyes aren't very good and I miss them. When are we coming through Texas?
After Christmas, right?
I think I skipped some more stuff here too. Sorry, oh man.
Right before that.
Okay. Texas, we're going like Louisiana, Texas, right after Christmas. We'll be down there.
It was from Rachel Vincent against the cast aluminum.
Oh yeah, dang Rachel, that's awesome. Make sure we get in touch. Yeah, send me a text or I'll try to. I don't know how to.
You can't message through YouTube anymore.
Yeah,
It's dumb. I don't know why they got rid of that. Oh, that reminds me. I got to do my subscriber giveaway video soon. So I gotta figure out how I'm doing that.
Is it possible to have an auto transmission in a Silverside? There's a few of them that are out there. People have done it. They put like a Series 50 and an automatic transmission. If you Google that, you'll probably find some images of the install. It's very, very involved. Oh, and we actually know the person that did that.
Was it Gene?
No. The guy, I forgot his name now. We met him at Blyville. The Silversides, it was, or the 4104 that was on the street in front of us.
Oh, Brian.
Yes.
Hang on, I got him on Facebook.
Adler? No.
Hang on, just stop.
I forgot. I can take a drink. Brian Ewer, yeah. The company that he works for, they did that. I knew his name. It just, I couldn't pull it up.
It says, I was friends on Facebook. So
I have.
Just take me a second.
Memory issues. Greetings from Mexico City. I might have skipped some more here. What part of Indiana are you from? I grew up in Northwest Indiana. My wife and I'm from Highland, St. John.
Right about there.
Yeah.
And then we live right about there.
And then, yeah, we've lived in Avon for the last 20 years, which is a suburb of Indianapolis.
And then I actually live in Indianapolis.
But I haven't actually lived there for a couple of years because I've been on the road working in the bus. We have a home there still, but I've only been home, 5 or 6 weeks the entire year, or 6 weeks.
2.5 weeks we were doing an engine build. And
Yeah. Which when we were talking to the banker, he called me a transient. I was like, oh, geez. I do have a home, but I guess, yeah, it's not really my address anymore. And by the way, when you live on the road, nobody wants to do anything for you. Insurance stuff, like they got to know what state you're in, even like health insurance and all that. So I do have to claim my address for certain things, but it's like you're lying to them. And like voting is a thing too, because you want to be registered to be able to vote. Even if you can't vote in a local election, you want to be able to vote in your national election. But if you don't have a place to do that, they don't let you just register and not have an ad. So living in an RV it definitely makes life hard. But you save some money. I'm lucky because I never really have to pay to stay anywhere. I think we stayed at one. Did we stay at one place this year, Kelly?
Yeah, because we were a long time in between and it was so hot.
It was super hot on. I didn't want to run the generator the whole time. But we stayed at one RV park this year. That's it. One night. And never paid for anything else. So we either stayed at a rest area or mostly at my customers' houses or outside their businesses. I stay in a lot of gravel parking lots and stuff like that. Okay. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for that. What's your husband's name? I don't know if I've ever seen him on here, or does he usually post under you? I'm not sure.
I've seen them both post online.
Okay. Here's a question. My 1969 MCS 7 sitting for 11 years, but started by previous owner 4 times a year. Odds I can drive it away. Probably pretty dang good.
Oh, it's been sitting 11 years.
Yeah.
Tires and airbags.
Tires and airbags, yeah, the airbags too. But yeah, I would make sure that the rack moves, bar the engine over a couple revolutions, make sure the rack still moves again, make sure pull down the oil bath air filters that are probably in it, and make sure there's no water in them. And at that point,
take the whole oil bath out and make sure there's not a mouse nest on top of it. Because if you suck it through, it's not gonna work well.
Yeah, maybe drain the bottom of the fuel tank, make sure there's not water in the bottom of it.
Don't go any farther. Someone said a Series 50. Why? So a Series 50 is a 4-cylinder version of a Series 60 Detroit.
Yeah, so it's a lot shorter. Because these buses are really skinny and that transmission's extra wide. You just don't have a lot of room for it.
You could go to like a 471, but you'd be so low on power, it wouldn't really work. A Series 50.
But you could probably fit a 671, and there's 4104s with 671s, inline 671, and an automatic in it. The V series, the Silversides, you don't have the room on the bulkhead that you do even on a 4104. So going to a V on a 4104 is difficult, but still you can do it. But on Silversides you can't. And the back doors, it's not like a hatch; they're individual. So then you can start recreating all kinds of stuff, and you can't just do a bump out on a door on the back of a Silversides. So somebody was asking about that automatic. Okay.
You have to go higher. It reset.
I'm sorry. Tyler, I will call Carter's Garage. You can start that way. And
just send a message on Facebook or Instagram if you have it to Indiana Diesel, or if you look at the end of any of my videos, there's a cell phone number you can text.
Yeah, in Indiana Diesel, it should be on there.
Yeah, it should be on the end of like all my videos. It's a 317 area code number.
My number's on the bunch of them too. So if you can text my phone too and just say who you are, and I'll try to grab it. But if you call my phone, it won't ring at all. It just goes right to voicemail. And a lot of times my voicemail says it's full anyways. Do you know where to find a scenic cruiser is for cheap? I'm homeless and looking for one for me, but for me and my daughter.
Gonna be a cheap scenic cruiser.
Yeah, there's no such thing, and they're actually very expensive because you're going to be 10 grand into it, no matter, even if you get it for practically free. By the time you put tires on it and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we know
Scenic cruiser conversion. I recommend that you check some people out that have already done it, so you can see what it's like in there. Because with those raised, elevated floors, it may not be something that you like, and depending on how tall you are, yeah, it may just be.
you really need to love a scenic cruiser to want to do something.
I love them. I'm not knocking them, but for RV conversion, they are not the easiest thing to do.
You make sacrifices for the looks.
And they certainly are not the cheapest things to operate, and there are some issues, structural cracks and things like that. And
I mean, if you're on a budget, you're better off looking for like that MCI, what is it, 96 that Lance has, the A, whatever it is.
yeah, but if they want something more classic, you can usually pick those up pretty cheap too.
No, but I'm like an RTS for a Transit or like an MCI hobby coach from the 80s. Those are going to be your cheapest bus to get into, I feel like. If you're not as far looking for the style, but you're looking for a cheap bus.
And you're always going to be cheaper off if you can find one if you want it converted, find one that's already converted. Somebody else is going to lose on that deal. That's the best thing you can do, and then work on part of the systems as you want to upgrade them. Unless you put a turbo and an aftercooler on a 471.
Even then, you'll still make more power with a Series 50 with some simple stuff.
Yeah, but I would stick to two-stroke just because that's me.
I would go for power potential and ease of maintenance and install and go with 50. Still in Detroit.
This person said, bought a 4107, doing some rewiring in the RV bus systems. Any source for some examples of how to write generator, set, inverter?
To wire.
Oh, to wire generator, set, inverter, and alternator. Well, if you have the book, I mean, it talks to you about that, because that whole start circuit, the alternator, all that stuff is tied in together through relays. Like there's a relay that senses that the alternator is putting out power, and if that's happening, then the starter won't engage, so that you can't accidentally try to start it while the engine's actually running, to save your starter. And so like that whole system is kind of intertwined. So if you're having problems with some of that stuff, hit the book. The book explains a lot of it.
Someone's saying 60 to 70 minimum for a scenic cruiser. By the time you get one together, running, converted, that's really not an unrealistic number on one.
I mean, I've seen them sell for $5 grand, but
I've looked at some that are 10 and more that are $10,000 to $15,000 away from being able to drive out of there.
yeah, I don't know if I know anybody that owns a scenic cruiser that doesn't have less than probably 30 or 40 into it. That's for sure. But same thing with silver size. I think my bus, I've got 50 to 60. I think we're getting there now, and it's probably $25,000 to $30,000 bus on a good day. Why does the 8V92T roll black smoke under a load so bad? You probably got a problem with your turbo, because they really don't. As long, or you're
too big of injectors. It could be poorly tuned.
Yeah.
You could have a restriction in the
intake for the air. Yeah, they shouldn't really be rolling a lot of coal. Depending on what the injectors are, when you get a load and you're not producing as much, but the turbo should be making up for it. Air shouldn't necessarily be a problem. So
on a turbo two-stroke, you really shouldn't see much at all.
Most of them that I've worked on, they don't do that under load.
I mean, you have
maybe a little bit, but especially when you start going backwards on it, when you're losing momentum and the engine can't keep up, and if you keep your foot in the pedal, yeah, you'll start rolling coal, and that's very bad for your engine when you lug it like that. So don't do that. Actually, lugging it, period, is really bad. If you got a lot of black smoke, you're going to go through your turbo like nothing, because that soot's going right through your turbo.
I mean, new trucks do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, these apparently don't hold up as very well, because the first thing that we took Ivan's in, the guy said, is it blowing a lot of black smoke? And he said, yeah, well, that destroyed your turbo.
I mean, that's what destroys a lot of 6-liter Power Stroke VGTs. They get so carboned up on the unison ring that they won't change vane position. So your VGT turns into a fixed geometry. Take them apart and clean them, put them back together, and they'll usually work just fine.
Hey, Amos, he's asking what the interval is to run the overhead on the 8V71. It really depends. There's a lot of things that depend on that. I don't remember what the book recommendation is for it. It's a really high number, but I know I've done it at like 40,000 miles, and I've seen wear on them. 25,000 miles, there's a very, very small adjustment. So
usually most big stuff I work on is 100,000 to every $250,000, 250,000 miles, between 100 and 250,000. That's what a lot of books call for, but also look at time and wear and what the
We're also
engine is.
using older oils too. We're not,
And
we're not
outdated
using
technology.
we're not using fancy synthetics and stuff like that too. And some of our air cleaners might not be as good, and maybe that adds up to it too.
I mean, they're very easy to set up yourself, even if you don't have the dial gauge. If you get the pin and learn how to do it, it's
Most
really easy to set up.
Most people aren't driving their RVs nearly that much, so
I'd set it more on a every couple year basis or something like that for your maintenance schedule.
what was the last year the two-stroke was produced?
In like '94.
Going in vehicles when they, yeah, most of it was tier emissions and stuff.
What are we on? Tier
Why
five?
was negative ground used? Well, everything now is negative ground.
Yeah.
Are you asking positive ground? That's how everything used to be. That 1961 is when GM switched from positive ground to negative ground. Again, if you're asking a question, if you make it in all caps, it makes my life a lot easier if it stands out. Living in an old bus is a luxury, not economical way to live, FYI. I think you could save a lot of money if you lived in a bus. I don't know that I would say it's not economical.
I mean,
It's not economical when you keep a home the whole time.
but a $200,000 house versus $40,000 into a bus, not making a mortgage payment, all that stuff. Especially if you own the land you put it on, or like in Dad's case, you're at customer locations all the time. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that my clients pay for my fuel we charge travel fees and stuff like that. But if I traveled the country as much as I did, it's definitely not cheaper because, we put... How much money do you think we spent on fuel this year, Kelly? I would guess the number is somewhere just shy of $20,000 would be my guess. I don't know. That would be a dang good guess, though, I think. Somewhere between 10 to 20,
Wait, let's go back up.
at least.
We have to pull the injector to see the size.
No, if you stick a little mirror in there and a light, you can see it. It's right on the side of the front side, the side where the fuel rack is.
There's a little dot, and it'll tell you what the injector is.
Yeah, there's a little round circle on there, and it'll have a number on it.
N or C. I don't remember what he said it was for. Was that for the 92 series turbo?
Say that again?
Is that for the AV92T?
What do you say?
Is that what he's asking about the injector size in?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
So 70, 75, something like that?
Yeah, well, the numbers, they get crazy. They don't necessarily make sense once they get up there, too. They'll have like a 75, I forgot the numbers. But they don't use those same number systems.
No.
Especially when they started doing these emissions quality or rated injectors. I think Lance owes you enough to buy a pretty spot in Tennessee. Lance probably feels like that too. Lance actually said he wanted to put an RV pad on our property out there so he can come out there and visit. Have you worked on the transmission torque converter of the buses? I've had them apart. I haven't had to work on them, but I've taken them apart. I don't know if I have videos of that or not. Sometimes that gasket leaks on there, and I got to take that back end off. That's what that big round end on the back of his transmission. That is the torque converter on there. Yeah, he's saying about being economical. That's probably not a way to save money if you're going to have a bus, and if you're going to drive it. So if you're going to live on somebody's property that and then slowly work on it. But they do eat up a ton of money. It is definitely not a... I suppose you could buy a school bus and save some money.
At that point, though, if you're just looking to be cheap, a sticks and staples is the cheapest way to go.
Yeah, or...
You can buy those things for nothing, but you get what you pay for.
If they make the two strokes illegal, I don't think they're ever going to make them illegal in a privately owned vehicle or a historic vehicle. I don't think that's... Well, who knows, though? I've seen some crazy... they want to outlaw airplane flying and stuff like that, commercial aviation and things like that, too. So.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of things about vintage aircraft after that B-17 crash from the Collings Foundation.
Yeah.
They're talking about banning vintage aircraft from being able to fly, and they're on limited use as it is. You can't just get rid of history like that.
Yeah, no, they're not going to. But if I did, then I'd probably go electric. If there was some crazy thing that I had to do, then that's what I would do. I would say screw it and go electric before I put a four-stroke in here.
We go to a zero-stroke and put a rocket on the back.
Yes. The way that I have my propane set up, I don't save any money. I am still using the oil bath air filters, but eventually we're going to get rid of those.
It's on the to-do list.
It is on the list. It'll definitely. It might not happen until we go to the turbo, but we'll see. Oh man, if I skipped your question, I do apologize. Just ask it again. Oh, me and Kelly are planning something for next year. Can I tell them about that, Kelly? About the sign?
What?
The sign? The destination sign? So we are going to next year redo the destination sign on the bus, meaning the original sign from Lenny, where he used to service the towns, he would go from, I'm going to try to do this by memory, I'm going to skip a couple, but basically from Chicago to Detroit, and then he would go to, I think, like Evansville, Indiana, and then like Lexington, Kentucky, maybe. I think I skipped one.
Indianapolis, I thought, was on your list.
No, Indy's not there.
Oh.
There was another Kentucky one on there. Anyways, from there, I'd go to Nashville, Tennessee, and then like through Alabama, Montgomery. I can't remember all the places. It's on the sign, and I've posted it before. But anyways, Dothan, Alabama, Tallahassee, St. Petersburg, Miami, and then back up to, I don't remember the name, another place in Florida, West Coast, Jacksonville. And it would end up at like basically New Orleans to Miami to Chicago. It would do this big loop. So we are actually going to try to schedule our jobs during the summer of next year, where we go and we're going to try and work in all of the cities and towns that the bus used to service when it was in revenue service for Greyhound in the 40s. So we've got the destination sign that tells us where he went, and we're going to try to go to all those places. If I don't work in all those towns or in those areas, we're definitely taking the bus to all of those cities, which I've had them to all those cities except for New Orleans is the only one I've not actually had the bus in. And then Miami, we had them like 15 miles outside of Miami. We were in Fort Lauderdale or whatever, but we didn't actually make it to Miami. But we will do that. So that should be a really fun trip to do and document that and everything.
We got a ways to go back up to catch up.
A bunch of people were typing questions while I was talking.
Keep going. Keep going. Somewhere around there. I saw someone say zero stroke for the win. Yes, if it runs on straight explosions, it's best.
Maybe we could put a pulse jet.
I would like to build a pulse jet big enough to move this thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, wait a minute. With the new property, that means we can make jet engines at home because we don't have neighbors to complain.
We can do a lot of things out there on that property.
Mom already said no. If you guys
It's
can hear that.
extremely secluded, which is really cool. What does the model number mean? Like yours on 3751? That is just their model number. I think the 37 part was the number of passengers that it could hold. I think, or is it 50? No, it's not 51. But yeah, one of those things. I think the first two numbers mean that the number of passengers, and the last two were the model number. So yeah, like 4104, 4106. That was the 41 passengers, I think. I don't know. There's a whole decoding book on all that stuff, and they had like PD, part of the coach diesel, or they had
TDH.
Yeah, TDH transit.
Diesel hydromatic.
Yeah, which the hydromatic was what the automatic was. They called them H.
Anything with an H was an automatic originally.
Yeah. There's a whole code thing for figuring it out, and sometimes it doesn't always mean the same thing because it changes.
Well, even like a 3751, if it was a yellow, isn't a 3751? It's a 4101. Or what, a 3701 if it's a 32 footer or something like that. Sage is gonna be mad because I don't remember this stuff still.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been told like a dozen times.
Well, like the 4106, like some of them were ordered with the bathroom delete. That means they had more seats available for passengers, but they didn't change that first number to something else. So
Lancis was a factory deleted.
It was, yeah.
Which is rare, I guess.
So that general rule isn't necessarily the rule.
Don't know what your red hydraulic jack is. The air over.
I got it on Amazon. I don't know what it is. Harbor Freight makes some that are similar and seem to be real similar quality.
So anytime you're buying a jack, if it's from anyone but a really reputable name, I'd pretty much knock 20 to 30% off of what it's rated for, and that's what I'm safe using on them. I don't like to push jacks anywhere near their limit as it is.
Yeah, that's one thing we were talking about today, because I'll be able to build a bus barn out at the new property. And I said I got to make it high enough inside, so if I do get a set of lifts for a bus, I got to be able to lift the bus up too. If you've not seen the bus lifts, they're pretty awesome.
I'm putting a 2-post in mine. I need a car lift bad for what I do.
And somebody's asking if I have commercial accounts for parts. I don't purchase any parts. I let my customers do it directly.
I do. I have personal accounts.
Yeah,
So.
he does. I don't do it because then I don't have to deal with the sales tax on it and all that kind of stuff. So.
I don't charge parts markups, so I don't have that. People
Okay.
pay what I pay.
Okay. Well, I don't mess with it. I just let them deal with it, and then that's all on them.
Usually I source them, get them my discount, let the customer go buy them.
And I do get a discount for them though. Like when I order like PC and stuff like that, they'll give them a discount. They'll use my account to do that, but they pay with their own credit card.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just let them use my account, like discounts, and then I make them buy it. But I have accounts set up everywhere so I can track what I bought for who. That way I have the paperwork on it.
The historic license plates that I have on Lenny are not anything cheaper. They are actually, you pay more money to have those. Like some places have like an antique plate where you can get it and have like limited number of miles that you drive a year, that kind of thing. That's not what mine are. It's just an easier plate to have. I gotta turn this heater off in here. I am cooking.
Just turn it the other way.
I'm just a complainer tonight. I'm sorry. My back is feeling better since you gave me the pillow behind me. That was nice. Way outside of nowhere near Nashville traffic. It's if you've not driven through Nashville in the last 10 years, I don't know how it doesn't have the reputation for like the worst traffic city in the country, because like Atlanta is really, really bad, but Atlanta ain't got nothing, I think, on Nashville anymore. Nashville's got all these stupid roads where you'll have like a 4-lane road merge with another 4-lane road, but they merge it into just 4 lanes, and then they decide that those two roads will like crisscross the other way. So if you're on this road, you've got 500 feet to merge across multiple lanes to get off back to the road that you were originally on. It does that
everywhere in the city.
It does it like 10 times like that. Nashville, I don't want to get on it. Nashville is just absolutely ridiculous traffic. Oh, we just got super chat here. Swear jar or beer money, whichever works. How about new property money? we won't say any more bad words. Love the visual.
Talk for yourself.
He wants beer money.
We're talking about no saying bad words.
Oh, we don't need to say bad words.
Not here, but when I work.
Loving the videos and wanted to know if you think a city bus would make a good RV conversion. I used to have a city bus. There's a couple things about it that I would warn you about. Number one, insurance is a lot harder to get for a city bus because they're a transit bus, and a lot of companies don't even want to deal with a transit bus. It's not really made for highway use. They're only used around, inside of a city. Most of them don't have the same highway speed, so I had to change my rear end gate ratio on it to get it to go faster. They don't have all the underbay storage, so just be cautious about that. But there's a few things that are nice about them. One is they're lower to the ground. If you got like bad knees or hips, getting up into the bus is a lot easier on a city bus. Some of the RTSs and stuff like that, I think they're cool looking. But
also, a lot of the newer ones have kneeling.
And I of course am a huge fishbowl fan. But just to warn you, that insurance thing is a big thing that they don't like when it's a transit bus. It's like you're the redheaded stepchild of the RV conversion world. It's very, very difficult to do that, and I apologize.
You run into a lot of the problems too with the conversion when you go to schoolies.
Again, if you ask a question, if you type it in all capitals, that
You're
makes
nowhere near where we were before reset.
I don't know where we were at.
Keep
I'm
going.
sorry.
I'll tell you when we get there. Keep going. Keep going.
This has got to be about right, Tyler.
We haven't seen any of these yet, so you got to keep going, dude. You'll get there eventually.
Well, we'll just skip some because we got to find a place because it's going to jump us off here. We were here. We were definitely here. I am sorry for being unorganized. The thing scrolls and then all of a sudden it just shoots everything up and it's hard to go back and find it. Can a 6V92 TA be used in a bus versus a 71? Of course. Yeah, they're all over the place. That Eagle that I'm working on right now has a 6V92 TA in it.
I'm surprised it's not an 8V in that bus, though.
You would think so because it It's 45,000 pounds. It's got 2 slides on it, and that is it's got the
And a
roof
raised
raised,
roof.
and it's all steel, and it's, I mean, it's got like granite countertops in it, and that is a heavy bus, and it is kind of a dog on the highway. It doesn't like big hills. It doesn't like Mount Eagle, but you'll get there eventually. You just can't get there as fast. Turns out it's a 4104. My wife has threatened divorce if I buy it. Ask her for your advice, please. The wife is more important than the bus. How's that? I don't know what to tell you.
Your wife needs to change her mind.
Oh, Kelly just said your wife needs to change her mind.
You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Buy what you want. Buy what makes you happy.
Hey.
You only live once.
No, but get her to change her mind, because it is.
I didn't say how to do it.
Oh, it is really fun. You like living on the bus and traveling in the bus, right, Kelly?
Love it.
She loves it. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear her. She's in the back. She's in the bedroom.
I mean, it went from the point from living in your guys' house to now she thinks your guys' house is useless, too big, doesn't know what to do with it, and this is home.
Hey, I have something. I don't know if you caught this. If you watched my video, the install the camera thing, my whole entire life, everything about this bus is Silver Size is a 35-foot bus. Silver Size is a 35-foot bus. My bus is 34 feet, and that's from bumper to bumper. So it shrunk, I guess. I don't know.
This is one of those Greyhound body shop specials where they cut 2 buses in half and put them back together, and your bus ended up a foot shorter.
No, they all have to be that way, but they are not 35 feet. If you've got one, go take your tape measure out and measure it, and you'll be like, what?
I'm going to laugh when they all come back at 35 foot and we try to figure out where the extra foot went in your bus.
Yeah, I'll feel really bad. Could you give a brief explanation of the difference between a 92 and a 71 series? 71 cubic inches per cylinder, 92 cubic inches per cylinder.
Dry liner, wet liner.
Those are the 2 biggest changes. So the dry liner means the liner just slides in the block, so it's metal. That's cool. Oh, this thing just jumped on me again here. Oh, shoot.
So a dry liner motor, there's a hole in the block, like an engine, like normal bore. You slide the sleeve
coolant
into.
is sealed inside the block.
Yeah. You
In
don't
a
have to
wet
worry about
liner,
leaking,
the coolant actually touches the back of the liner.
which is a lot better
if you
for cooling.
pull the liner out, the coolant gushes everywhere.
Yeah, it's got to be sealed with O-rings.
Yeah,
It's a lot better for cooling, though.
It is much better for cooling, but it also has its downsides too. But
It's
yeah,
not, if it sits for 20 or 30 years.
but you get a lot
you
more
usually don't get
power,
to start right
and
back up.
they're really good. They had some issues with them. The Silver 92 was a later edition, that they came out with, which was an improvement on it.
There are red 92s as well.
They were just called Silver. They didn't necessarily.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying there are red ones out there too. You'll find them in red.
When Roger Penske bought Detroit, I believe he changed it. The color was red. I think is what somebody told me, but I don't know if that's true or not.
You've said it enough times on here, it probably is by this point.
Yes. Oh, these are people asking, telling you. Anyone have 43 foot? I don't know. No, I don't.
Oh, that makes me wonder what a 45 comes in
My
at.
wife and I ran a team as expediters, and I got paid for it. She didn't like it after a couple years. Kelly's a trooper. She likes it, and she doesn't like a whole lot of peopling either. So,
That's where I get that from.
yeah, that's fair. Why does Kelly like the bus so much? That's a very good question, Kelly. Well, she gets to travel with me. That's her favorite part, I think.
Yeah, it's my happy place.
It's her happy place. Oh, is this internet stream not very good? Somebody said we're breaking up. On this end, everything seems fine, but I have no idea.
Back here.
Roger Penske owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're very excited about that.
I hope he brings back F1.
I think he's going to do a whole bunch of things. We're huge IndyCar fans, so if we have a minute here to talk about this.
I mean, we're at the bottom of the list anyway. Go for it.
Okay. Well, we're only at the bottom of the list because it jumped up and skipped a whole bunch more. But yeah, no, he's got some vision and some money to back what he's doing, and just initial things.
One of the biggest things, putting lights off.
If they do it,
Possibly moving the Brickyard to be a night race and race under the lights in Indianapolis if they put lights up, which would be amazing. 100 years of that track and they've never had lights.
ton of racing history there, and we just love IndyCar open wheel racing and stuff like that
I mean,
too. So
of anyone who could have bought that track, I feel like he was the best fit to buy it.
he will be a great steward of the history of great owners.
Yeah.
Tony, George, the Holman family, obviously.
They've owned it since Rickenbacker sold it.
Yeah, Rickenbacker. I don't remember who.
Yeah. But
No, yeah, I don't know who
he
it
bought
was.
it post World War One and then sold it after World War Two.
I think so.
Definitely worth the listening.
Who has that? Is that the history guy that has that about
History
him?
guy has a video of what happened in World War Two with him. But he's got an incredible life history. The history guy on YouTube.
Nashville has 3 major interstates running through it. Yeah, and they all merge and cross each other 19 times around Nashville.
I mean,
I believe.
we have I-65, I-70, and I-74 in Indianapolis, and I-69 starts there. Indianapolis has no traffic except right at the 65-70 merge or the split, because it does the same damn thing. You have a mile to cross the 2 interstates.
And you should see all the construction going on in Nashville right now. I think there are 24 cranes, is what Lance said.
I counted like 15 or 16 just sitting in traffic today.
Just high-rise buildings, those huge scaffolding cranes all over the place. They are just building the crap out of Nashville right now. It is insane, and they're not working on the infrastructure. And I don't know what they're doing.
And I've noticed something in this city. You guys can correct me. I haven't seen a cab since I've been here. In Indianapolis we don't have cabs, but it's a very easy to drive through city.
There are still some cabs, though.
They're
Like airport cab service is all over, but yeah, that's it.
But pretty much any night of the week, I can leave my house at 10 o'clock on my motorcycle and ride around downtown with no traffic all night.
Uber and stuff has destroyed the cab industry. So,
but still, like when Chicago has traffic, but they have a lot of cabs too. There's a lot of ways to get around it.
Buffering is getting worse. Buffering in North Carolina. I'm not sure what I can do. We've been on an hour, so maybe we should just finish up and do another one another night. No, I don't have any kind of a warranty on my repairs. There's when you're dealing with old stuff, there's nothing I can do with that, and I don't even give estimates. Everything I do, I charge by the hour. As soon as I quote somebody, if I gave you an exact estimate and I spend 19 hours on one bolt kind of thing, I can't do it. So that's why I let them work with me, so they see what's happening here. So this person's in North Carolina, no buffering. So maybe it's a YouTube issue and not necessarily us, because one person's watching it with no buffering. That doesn't make any sense to me. What are you asking? Tony George just about wrecked IndyCar with his vision.
Yeah, talking about when they split off from Champ Kart and all of that.
Well,
stuff.
that whole thing was absolutely crazy. And yeah, I'm not gonna trash talk Tony George, but I don't think that
he did make some good decisions at times.
When you have a family business and you pass it on to your kid. They're not necessarily going to do the best job running it as compared to if you just hired somebody who was actually trained for
First
that.
off,
so I didn't mean to slam on
Second
you.
off, I have my own business.
I know. I didn't mean it like that, but that's how I feel about a lot of businesses though. When a family runs it like that,
that's what happened to the Chevy dealership I used to work at. I came in right at the
exactly
transition when this father sold it to the son, and a year later the dealership was out of business. I only worked there a few months because I could see that there are 30 other technicians here that are about to lose their job. I want to be the first one to get a better job, get something that's have a job.
Yeah. So, anyways, we don't want to get on the politics of IndyCar stuff because that could be its whole. We could have our own channel on IndyCar stuff.
We need to think about doing this.
Huge IndyCar fans, if we haven't said it enough.
Have you checked in on Hinchcliffe lately? I haven't heard anything.
No. Okay. Watching us in the air, flying from Sacramento to Chicago on Southwest Wi-Fi. That is really cool.
That's awesome. What are you going to Chicago for? And do you need any recommendations? I used to live up there.
Yeah, we love Chicago.
Yeah.
You can go visit my mom, who was on here watching a little while ago.
She'll take you to the best beer spots in all of Chicago.
She will. The Chicago Beer Girl. She has a YouTube channel too, Chicago Beer Girl, I think, right, Sally's?
Yeah.
Beer in a minute.
What?
Beer in a Minute? Beer in a Minute, that's what it's called. Sorry. She has a blog, Chicago Beer Girl. She knows everything about beer, period. Weed's a good way to get booted. I don't know what that means.
Did someone say, Mom, did you have to kick somebody off?
No.
Okay. I was just checking.
Tyler, do you like dirt track racing?
Love dirt track racing. I'd like to try it. I've been a crew chief on asphalt teams for late model, vintage late model, everything down to like a Legends car and factory front wheel drive 4-cylinders. Never gotten to run on dirt, and there are a lot of dirt tracks in this area. So when I move, I'm kind of excited to maybe try to. Don't listen, Mom. Build a race car.
We used to sponsor Sprint Car too when we had our business too. So we'd go out to the dirt tracks and.
So in Indianapolis, if you guys are there, the Speedrome, every single week during the summer, unless I'm out of town, I am there for every race every week.
We love going to the Speedrome because they have figure eight racing there. If you've never experienced figure eight racing, it is absolutely insane.
I wonder if I can do figure eight dirt racing. Is that a thing? 'Cause if so, I need to do it.
And then we go to Kankakee, Illinois every year. We try to go
Oh,
with
yeah.
TJ because they have figure eight bus racing going on out there.
On dirt.
On dirt. And it is insane. And if you've never seen it, it's the racetrack itself is a figure eight. So that middle section where you cross each other there.
In school buses.
Yeah, you're not like ramping. You're going through and not
Through the
hitting.
side of a schoolie.
It's crazy. It's with a smaller 40-foot bus.
Well, another thing about dirt track. So I went for the last couple of years. I've gone every year to the Hoosier 100. So the horse racing track at the Indiana State Fairgrounds is a USAC Silver Crown race. I love Silver Crowns.
The 3D 60 camera system in the bus is very cool. The cartoon bus is funny. Yeah, I want to find out how they render that in that software, and if I could make my own image of a Silverside's bus on there instead of using their generic ones. I want to talk to those guys at REI and see if I wouldn't expect to pay. I wouldn't want to pay them probably to do that. But if they could let me know what kind of file format that 3D thing is done in, you know, we have some serious Photoshop skills and stuff, so I'm pretty sure that I could do it. So I would love to actually make it look like my bus, but otherwise it's just gonna look like a generic bus. But
all the OEMs too that get it installed, they will model your bus if you're an OEM manufacturer or ordering a large quantity.
yeah, but they don't have the ability to do that on all these vintage things because that's not gonna be their market. But
I mean, right now we're the only Silver Sides with that.
there may be others. I don't,
I don't think REI has another one like this.
They may. Oh, mouse update. So I don't know if you read on my community tab that we had a mouse on the bus. And I'm going to say a mouse because that's what I'm praying. It's just a mouse, but I know that that's not going to ever happen. So a couple nights ago we heard it. And then I thought, oh, geez. So we traps out. The first night I successfully fed the mouse. I did not catch him, but he got everything off of the trap. And then last night I got a mouse. And I'm going to hope that's the only one. We were supposed to buy more trap. I'm gonna put some stuff down in the bays. What I think is happening though is my electrical cord here is plugged in and we're out kind of in the woods, but it's cold outside. That cord passing current through to the bus the whole time makes it warm. So this is just my guess. I don't know. Mice can get in anywhere, but I think that they're coming up that electrical cord, following the heat from the cord and then getting in the bus. But having mice on the bus, that just absolutely sucks. We had mice earlier this year when we were out at Burning Man. We discovered a mouse on the bus. And so since then, most of our food goes into big Rubbermaid containers under the cabinets and stuff. So there's not just a lot of food sources for them. But we're out in fields and stuff like that a lot. So it is.
And we're usually the only warm thing there.
Yeah.
The shop next to us isn't heated. So.
Yeah, I don't want to have mice in the bus. My wiring does not need mice chewing on it. At some point, we're going to rewire the entire bus, but that's going to be a huge, huge undertaking.
I'm really not looking forward to that, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to be out of town when I do it.
I'm taking a vacation for
Right?
a couple weeks.
Yeah, not available. Please keep the videos, love your channel. Hey, I appreciate all of you actually that watch the channel and subscribe. And as we mentioned earlier, we hit 70,000 subscribers today. That's a big milestone for us. I really thank you for
How long was it ago? We're at
subscribing.
30?
Yeah, just a few months ago, we've doubled in the last like 4 months. So. Hello is Turkey. Does that mean you're from Turkey? That's cool if that's what that means. It was a big mouse. It wasn't a rat. God, if there was ever a rat on this bus, Kelly would be in a hotel, I think. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. She's allergic to cats. When she's talking about the new property, she's like, we got to have cats out there though. So, and they like know that she's allergic to them because every cat in the world sees her and wants to just cuddle and wrap themselves, entwine themselves around her face and everything else. It's the funniest thing ever. She's like, no, please. And they just eat her up. It's hilarious.
I'm glad you think it's funny.
She's glad. I mean, okay, maybe, sorry, I apologize. That's not.
Nice, Dad.
I didn't mean it that way, but it's funny. Not for what happens to her, but it's funny that they do that to her. I should just shut up right now.
Yeah, I'm not sharing the couch. You get to sleep on the floor.
Bus figure eight is also done at the Speedway in Cherville. So I used to.
That track is gone. Ileana Motor Speedway closed the year after I moved down.
Okay.
That track is gone and torn up. That's where I used to be a crew chief at.
So I used to live literally 2 blocks away from Ileana.
We
Yeah,
we,
all of us
sorry,
did.
we,
Our first house.
our first house that we built was in, it was a Crown Point address, but it was really Cherville.
But yeah, I used to be a crew chief at that track, and they sold it and tore it down. Indiana Motor Speedway is no longer there.
Yeah, that's one of those things too, where like the racetrack had been there forever, 50, 70 years. I don't know how long.
Same thing that happened with US 30 Dragway.
They start building subdivisions all the way around it, and then the people that buy the houses around the racetrack complain about the noise of the racetrack that was there before when they built their house. That that stuff drives me nuts.
Yeah. And that's what killed US 30 drag strip too.
Yeah.
Everyone built houses around it, and they complained about the drag strip. It's there first. Deal with it.
My cat lets me live in her house. Cats are, yeah. I'm not a huge cat person, but I don't dislike cats. And my mom has cats, and I like comes, but that's not always true because my dog doesn't do that all the time. Only,
Well, some of them do.
and then when we worked for, I was amazed at the way that I've ever seen a dog do. So like they'll get up on a ball and walk back and forth on their hind legs on a ball. They do that obstacle course weaving thing. Her cats do that. She has trained them. If you love cats and she's ever in your area, I highly recommend that you are they called the Rock Cats? Or
I don't know.
maybe no, I don't know. The Acro Cats I don't think is the name of the band, but whatever they are, she actually has a band that every single cat plays an instrument in. So there's a drummer, there's a guitar player, I don't know if there's a keyboardist. One of them might play a bell, a cowbell. How can you? I mean, they don't play them well. Don't get me wrong. They're not. They're not playing chords, but they are playing the instruments together. That's crazy.
You did get that super chat on the screen, correct?
Yeah, we did that one, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want
Sorry.
to make sure that was still it.
Yeah. Best channel on YouTube. That's probably stretched, but thank you very much for
Does
that.
that mean mine's second best?
No, I try to listen to what people want to see more, and then I get to share my life. That, I mean, who knew that this was the path that I was going to take?
I wouldn't have guessed this like 6-7 years ago.
No way. I would have never. Well, and nobody else does what we do, and it's just fun to be able to do it. I don't want to talk about it too much. I'll get emotional here, I think. But yeah, we've been able to really create something neat here, and I do thank you all for subscribing.
Literally all started because you just bought a bus to be a prop.
I bought a bus to be a prop to take pictures on. I had no interest in buses. If you've never watched the video, the How I Became the Bus Grease Monkey, I recommend you watch it because I think it's a pretty neat story of how we got here. And this person said that happens with small airports too. Yeah, and big airports, they do that too. But yeah, people they build their houses and they want everything to change once they move in. That's just crazy. When are you coming to see Danger Stew? I don't know when that's gonna happen or if that's gonna happen. I really want to. We're gonna plan a vacation there, but honestly, with the new property, my daughter's getting married next fall. It's probably not gonna happen next year either. And then with that bus trip we're gonna do, and but soon as my daughter gets married, we're going to sell our house in Indiana. Otherwise, I would sell it right away now, but she wouldn't have a place to live, so I don't want to do that. What is this here? If you find a Mack with the UD4, UD6, the Nissan engines, which are very similar to 71 series Detroit engines, but without unit injectors, they will actually make more horsepower. Yeah, I don't know anything about them, so I wouldn't want to put something like that in mine. We're planning on putting together a Silversides bus rally in Elkhart, Indiana in 2020. We did the Bus Grease Monkey Rally in Indianapolis. I don't know how many
4
years
years ago.
I think it's been more than I said earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. It all runs together, man. When you get old, too, the first thing that goes. I forgot what it is, but Ben, there was an Eagle with a 12V71 TT. I worked on an MCI with a 12V71 TT that's in it. It's on my channel. If you search like 12V71 awesomeness or something like that, you'll find it.
It was on MC6 too. Someone just said MC6 for 12V71s.
But this one's got twin turbos on it, which they did not come. They didn't come with turbos at all.
So all the MC6s were what, originally 12Vs?
Yes.
And then the ones that went to Canada stayed 12Vs with a manual transmission. The ones that were North American use were converted to automatics, but they went to an 8V71 to clearance it.
I think the MC6, it's one of my favorite buses. I think they're beautiful looking. and it's a shame that there wasn't very many of them produced, and the laws didn't get changed in time for them to be legal everywhere, and nobody made money with them. They were a huge loss for the bus companies that ran them. They only had limited routes that they could run because of their size. And I saw, there was an article that I saw online, and I didn't read the whole thing, but the title of it was like the MC6, a bus that was 6 inches ahead of its time. And I thought, wow, that was a really clever title for somebody to come up with, because the bus was 6 inches wider than, instead of 96 inches wide, it was 102 inches wide, and that made it not legal to drive in most states. And the laws, now you can do that. Now everything's 102 for the most part. But back then it wasn't. So they came out with this bus. They were just ahead of their time. And they weren't able to make money with them because of that. And I don't know. They're awesome buses though.
Someone right there said it.
Owned an MC6, lost money. Yeah, well, everybody that's ever owned any bus has lost money on it. Oh, except I have a story I can tell. This is an amazing, 100% true story, right,
Yes,
Tyler?
Yes, it is.
I know a guy who bought a bus, and inside of his bus, he found 20 times his original purchase price in cash inside of his bus
You can't
that he
say,
bought.
You either can't say whose it is or what they paid for
I
it.
can't say any of that information, but I can tell you a 100% true story. He bought his bus and he found 20 times his original purchase price in cash money inside of the bus that was there. And there was actually a note with the cash that said that it was okay for whoever found the money to use it, which, like, well, how does that happen? And I actually saw the note too. So it was crazy. That's a crazy story.
But yeah.
However, he's still going to end up losing money on the bus by the time he's done with it.
No, because he's gonna do stuff with it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's true. You may make money with the bus. Find Jimmy Hoffa too. Yeah, I don't know if he's in a bus.
But back to the MC6s. The good news is that you want an MC6 because I want an MC6, but I'd rather buy a scenic cruiser. And MC6s are out of my budget. And I feel like you're gonna end up with an MC6 at some point.
There, you know what? I've seen a couple MC6s sell for under $5,000 in the last few years.
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't have. Well, and one of them was really a creepy bus, where Jeffrey went and looked at it, and he sent me pictures of it. He's like, "What is going on with this bus?" But there's a bedroom in the back of the bus. This was, I think it was in Texas. MC6. It might still be for sale. Bedroom in the back. That's not weird or abnormal. But what was really weird and abnormal is there was a two-way mirror that had like a closet type room with a seat in it where you could sit in, and the two-way mirror went into the bedroom. Like, you couldn't, from the bedroom, you couldn't see in the mirror, but whoever was sitting in that seat could see the bedroom. That is like the most bizarre thing I had ever heard of. So there was some creepy, weird stuff going on in that bus. Fake news story? Is he talking about our money thing? That is a true story.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true story. I was there. We didn't say what the funds were in either direction, but he paid 20 times what he paid for it.
Yeah. A brothel bus. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Swingers. Yeah, that was just, it was, he was too creeped out by it. Even, I probably still, I could probably go through my texts and find pictures of that bus with that two-way mirror.
Put it in your community tab.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Make a post on Bus Grease Monkey about it. No, I think an MC6.
I have learned there are all kinds of people in this world, though. So you never know what some people are into. Why was that MC6 12E smoking so bad? Because it hadn't been started in many, 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 many years. And there's always one cylinder that's not firing on them when that happens because the rust on the exhaust valves and stuff like that. But after running it for 15 to 20 minutes, there's multiple videos of that. You'll see it by the end. It's not smoking at all, even on startup. Yeah, that's a great bus. He bought that MC6 for $2,000. He actually paid more to have it towed home to his property than he did for the purchase price of the bus. And he had the opportunity to buy two of them. Another one was a parts bus there that went for $1,000, and he didn't do it. But then he was kicking himself for it. But he didn't buy that MC6 for a bus. He bought it because it had a 12V71 in it. He wanted to make a hot rod with that engine. But then once he got it home and he appreciated how straight and clean that bus is, he wants to convert it. And he wants me to come back out there and work on it again. His name's Carl, and I definitely want to make it out there. He's in Oklahoma with that bus.
If he pulls the engine out of that bus, I will take the rolling shell.
But if he ever wants to sell it, I would, if I'm in the position to want to buy it, I would definitely buy it, because it is a beautiful.
I just want to
just look for the bus on my channel. Go back and find. I probably have, actually click in my playlists. There's a playlist of that with a couple of videos of that bus. That's the easiest way to find it. Go to our channel, click on the playlist thing, and you'll find it on there.
It's also got stacks out the back, which
It's
is
super
interesting.
sweet. I did a, I guess I can call it a burnout in that bus because it was in the mud and spun the wheels right off of the rims on it. DB-ed the wheels.
First time you ever done that?
Yeah. I've seen it change my mind. Yeah. I'm not sure what that is. I bet Phil has a leather pimp suit in the club. I don't know what that means. A leather is just a pimp suit.
No, just if you don't know what they mean, stop and keep scrolling.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't read that out loud.
My bad. Oh God, I'm such an idiot. You have no idea how.
How clueless you are most of the time.
No, well, I mean, I wasn't allowed to watch MTV growing up because that was Satan's channel. So just, I lived a very sheltered life.
You got a lot of catching up to do in a short amount of time.
I did. The money was from an old guy who knew he didn't have time left and he wanted somebody to have a new ownership. That is actually very, because the note said a couple really nice things in it about who, if you need that money or you want that money, it's here. Yeah.
Hang on, go back up for a second. Too far. Down. Down. Stop. Okay. That's not my name. I wanted to see what it was.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom here. See where we're at here. Nice, Tyler.
I tried to be as quiet as I could.
It was not quiet or anything.
It was the quietest I could have possibly burped. You're fine.
That bus was really nasty. If it was a mobile porn studio, that is like a whole new level of low quality porn, I would assume. The injectors were not bad in that bus. It was just, yeah, it had the
Normal rust on the exhaust valve, so it'll clear up after a little bit. No matter how you park it, an exhaust valve's going to be open somewhere.
a couple people got spanking from Kelly, huh?
What do we miss?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Tell us after.
Yeah, don't make Kelly mad.
They spelled that wrong.
Oh. Sorry. Tyler, do you go to the drag races?
Actually, yes. My vocational high school had a scheduled field trip where I got to miss my regular high school and my Votech school all day to go to the Nationals.
That's cool.
And then I go to Wild Wednesdays.
And then we used to go to the
Night before the 500.
night before the 500 that they.
Yeah, on the road or on the circle track there, which I believe that's where the NASCAR Truck Series goes. Which also, there is a race every year at Eldora for the NASCAR Truck Series on dirt, and I want to try to get him to go to that next year because I want to go.
So I got hired one time to photograph a dirt track race. So one of the tracks where I was at, I was like right on at the end of, I guess it'd be turn 4, and right when they were getting on the gas coming out of that turn there, and I got hit in the nuts so hard with dirt flying off of that track that I'm like, I will never stand anywhere near that.
You stand coming into the turn.
Yes.
Not
Don't
going out of
stand
it.
at the end. Oh my
You stand
gosh.
at 1 and 3, not 2 and
Yeah,
4.
when they give you access as a photographer that you don't normally get, that was a very bad spot. I was still behind the wall, but they had like a fence part where there's a gap between it. I thought, oh, this is great. I'll get a great shot. No,
Didn't you get smoked in the shoulder with a piece of rubber somewhere too?
I don't recall that.
I thought that was you.
I don't think so.
Someone said Trucks at Eldora was good.
Like the Chili Bowl too. Like one of the drivers that we sponsored, he ran in the Chili Bowl. That was we were really excited for him for that too. That was cool.
We have a super chat. You just scrolled.
Oh,
twice.
I'm sorry. William Oswald, swear jar, go Kelly. I can't wait to find out what happened. Or maybe not. She didn't sound very happy about it. You only work on American buses? Have you ever worked on any imported British buses?
I have. I worked on double decker.
Yeah, I have not worked on any. Stan has an engine block there that he was wanting to get rid of too.
You didn't tell me?
Yeah, it came out of a double decker. I can't remember what the name of it was, but the whole thing is there and it was in good shape. But he was wanting to get rid of it. Find somebody who needed it. He didn't want to just throw it out. I have to. Next time I go up there, I'll get some information on it because there might be somebody looking for one. It's important. What are the? I don't know what they're talking about. Important. There was left-hand or right-hand drive. I'm not sure if I don't know what you're. I'm sure he's answering somebody else's question. Oh, is an engine by itself? Somebody must have mentioned that they have an engine available. If it can go in a bus, maybe. Sorry, I missed it, whatever it was. Watching a 671 on Purple Wave auction site.
That might be what they're asking, if it's left-hand or right-hand rotation.
Which you can change them. It's not too hard to do.
What do you need to change? Camshaft?
Yeah, and then
What else changes?
the position of the gear inside from one side to the
Oh,
other.
it moves.
Because the cams always turn in the same direction. It's only the crankshaft that goes the opposite direction, but for the cam to
You're back?
and that's all I gotta say about that.
What were you talking about before that happened?
Sorry.
Squirrel. I really forgot what we were talking about.
When I did dirt race,
left-handed
clouds of dirt would come and hit you in the nuts. Very painful. That is exactly what happened to me, and I about keeled over, and it was horrible.
How expensive camera about bite it?
Yeah, it didn't hit the camera. Yeah, I could see you breaking a lens or something too. If I did a
Would
lot
you
of
rather get hit in the nuts or bust your lens off?
that sounds like a very dirty thing too.
Would you rather break the camera lens or get hit in the nuts with dirt?
I liked it better when he said bust your lens off.
Worst case, it destroy the camera and the lens. That'd be pretty bad.
I'd rather be home polishing my lens. All right, we need to go. I don't even know where to go after that. Good night, everyone. I'm going to go watch the Cowboys lose again. Oh, is there a football game on tonight? Is it Thursday night? Thursday night football?
Yes, it is.
Thursday night football, is that on regular TV? We might. Oh, it's probably on
Yes,
Fox.
it is on Fox because that's what I get to watch at home.
Yeah, we don't get Fox here on this.
Oh.
It's a family show, question mark. We're talking about camera lenses. I don't know. Years ago, the transit system had these GM buses, kind of small size. I guess I gotta, when I join people in the middle of a conversation on here, it's really hard to know.
Go to the all caps questions that they're supposed to be leaving us. If you're asking a question, please put it in all caps.
What's the difference between a two-stroke diesel and a gasoline-powered two-stroke engine?
Well, there's no reed valves in a two-stroke diesel. There is nothing to control the airflow. The blower is what dictates the airflow.
And there's no lubrication. There's actually an
oil system on it. Yeah, it's not lubricated by the fuel.
That's correct. So we don't mix oil with our fuel kind of thing.
We have exhaust valves. We have intake ports, but we have exhaust valves. There's a camshaft still. It has a valve train. There's a lot of difference. There's almost nothing is the same between a two-stroke diesel and a two-stroke gas engine.
What would be really funny though is those little bottles that you add to your two-stroke gas every time.
Somebody has to have filled their bus with that.
Next time I fill my bus up, I'm going to put the appropriate amount of those per gallon.
Don't do that.
So that would be like 100 little bottles of two-stroke oil. It would run just fine. It would actually probably like the extra lubrication in the fuel, but
I don't know if you do what I do, but the race two-stroke oil that I put in my four-wheeler, that's going to be expensive.
Hey, Barry White, be nice, dude. That's the second comment that I've seen Kelly have to delete for you, and knock it off.
I'm surprised she deleted 2 comments.
Yeah. I know. I apologize. I took it a way I shouldn't have, but I thought it was funny what you said. My bad.
Way to go, taking a comment and making it worse.
I know. I should have not said that. I am sorry. Back when you're a photographer, did you ever use Mamiya? Absolutely. And I actually sold my Mamiya cameras for a very good price. I got rid of them about a year before digital came out, when they were actually worth something. It was a miracle. I knew people that totally lost tons of money for stuff.
I don't even know what those are. What are those?
What? Oh, it's my medium format camera. That's just the brand name of it. So, yeah, like Kodak. It's a brand name.
Okay.
645 is the format size. So the negatives were a lot larger, so it had a lot more quality. We could do a lot larger blow-ups and stuff like that with them.
Also developed and printed everything in-house.
Yeah. I had an RB that had the back of the camera actually rotated on it, which was great, except for sometimes I would forget which position the back was in, because it's still, that particular camera did a rectangular image, but it was a square piece of film, so depending on how you had it, you could totally screw up some images. Was
Did
he
it
being
again?
bad, Kelly, after I told him to knock it off?
Stupid shit that he was posting, so he's gone.
Okay, yeah, just get rid of him.
The one that we got off Tyler's channel the other day.
Yes, yes, he is the one.
I know, that's why I went ahead and kicked him off then.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude. Lost your chance.
I used to add a few ounces of transmission fluid to the diesel fuel in my Mercedes. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to add lube to it.
So when I worked at the Ford dealership, there were some guys that had older 7.3s. They would take all of the old ATF that we use out of the flush machines, and when we rebuilt transmissions, strain it through a filter, get it down to a few microns to get the big chunks out, and then mix it with diesel and run it.
Yeah.
Free fuel.
I put all kinds of stuff in mine.
I mean,
And
you were on your last bus on like 50% veggie oil. You
I
made yourself-
actually, and the upper end on that thing, everything looks so good. I other than the rubber hoses can't handle the veggie oil. I think having a little bit of veggie mixed in there is pretty good for them. They really like that. Yeah, I had one a guy that I don't know if I knew the person or somebody told me the story of this guy, but he took his Hasselblad camera because he wasn't going to get any money for it, and he loved it so much that he just took the front off of it and popped out the insides of it and threw it in his fish tank so he could still see it all the time and his fish could swim through it and stuff like that. I thought that was a really cool story.
What are the old cameras? You have a bunch of them sitting by your desk.
Yeah, that's old antique stuff.
I think you need to get a better collection going.
Yeah.
Go buy back all the
Some of
cameras
it was
you used to have.
grandpa's or my grandma's, and yeah.
You could probably go buy back all the cameras you used to shoot with when you started for a few $100s.
I can, yeah. And nothing more depressing than paying $15,000 for a camera, and then when you go to sell it, it's worth $200 because that's what digital technology did to, you know, you wanted to be an early adapter into the digital world. Everything got, we had printing machines that were $150,000 that I think I sold one for $2,000, and it was less than 10 years old. You don't have to use the Viton or
Viton.
whatever it is. You don't have to use those, but if you don't want them to leak and fall apart, you have to use them.
So you have to use them then.
No, you can use them for a while in regular hoses. It'll bite you in the butt, but you can use them for a little bit.
So is it like ethanol? Ethanol will eat through non-ethanol rated fuel lines, but
It turns them into this like gummy, rubbery, nasty.
Yeah,
and they just.
But if you run it through quick, if you're gonna put a tank in and drive through that entire tank in a day or so,
it doesn't really affect it. But you will
Yeah.
see nasty stuff come out in your filters. That's the one thing when I first started using veggie in the bus, I couldn't believe how clean it turned my fuel tank. So I don't know if it's the acidic property of the veggie oil or something, but it totally, that inside of that fuel tank was shiny like day one new. The diesel fuel left this like black residue all over everything, and after having veggie oil in there with it, it was just the cleanest, brand new, perfect like day one from the showroom looking metal, which means all that stuff ended up in my fuel filters. And
we need to find local suppliers when we move back down here so we can start refining it again.
I don't know if I want to go through that. I suppose if diesel fuel prices get up to like $5-6 a gallon, then I'd consider going back to veggie. But it is a pain in the butt.
What else am I gonna do though? I got time.
But
to
it was fun. I never
Your
had
hippie
any,
bus ran on veggie.
Yeah.
How the hell did this guy keep getting back on here?
Who?
Maybe is he changing his name just a little bit or something?
He probably has multiple accounts with the same
multiple
name.
profiles, and he's just dumb.
I thought we kicked him off before.
Well, you just kicked him off again? Same guy?
Yeah. Sorry. He found a loophole. I don't know. He probably has multiple profiles that are real similar names because he gets kicked off of everything because some of the ridiculously ignorant stuff that he was saying the other day. Just, yeah, if you see him, just block him.
I did.
Okay. And then,
And I was gonna read his comments right there. No, we didn't notice any problems with pumps or injectors or anything on that stuff. It loved it.
nope.
Like a modern common rail or a high pressure system, I wouldn't run it on a newer Huey truck or anything like that. Maybe a 7.3, like an IDI. Send it. They'll run on anything. Mechanical diesels will run pretty much anything you pour in them. That's an oil.
Kodak. Somebody was just mentioning that they have a big collection of Kodak cameras and stuff like that. Kodak used to be such a powerhouse in our industry, and now they're like a nothing. I mean, that's one thing.
It's a consumer throwaway cheap digital camera now.
It's not even that. I mean, they were everything, and they didn't really adapt that digital stuff very good right away. And
The only thing I've seen from them are like the $50 Walmart special digital cameras.
just a huge company. Like you would never think that Kodak, 30 years ago, if somebody told you Kodak was going to be like a non-existent or not even important in the industry anymore, there's just no way that you would think that. But that's one thing, like how industry changes. And I don't know why I'm necessarily talking about this, but it's just when he mentioned Kodak, it's just how obsolete. We were talking about selling the other cameras and stuff like that. Kodak's still in business. They are, but they are a very, very small portion of what they used to be. They actually, the best thing that I've seen them do, maybe like 15 years ago, there was a guy, like Kodak did like a training video thing or something. I don't remember what it was called, but I don't know, maybe if you search like Booyah Kodak or something like that, it was this really cool motivational speech where this guy was talking about everything that Kodak's done and how they were going to change and come back in the industry and stuff like that. I don't remember what that, if anybody knows what that video is called, it's amazing. It's so funny to watch. It didn't really turn out in the end the way they wanted it to, but they tried to bring things back and talk about what they were doing and stuff. But yeah, I mean, everything used to be a Kodak moment. I mean, that was like their tagline, and they owned the commercial industry. We had all of our stuff. Yeah, Kodachrome. Yeah, but I think you'll see, film stuff is coming back. There's some people taking the artistic side of it, kind of coming back with it. I think it's gonna be kind of cool. There's nothing like that first time you got into a dark room and you developed something and did it. It's so much different than sending it through to a printer and watching it come out. I mean, it's a whole different feeling. Anyways, sorry.
We're off track on cameras.
I know.
Nikon or Canon?
Did somebody just ask that?
No, but I know what you're gonna answer.
Oh, well, no, I've been both. I when we were Nikon forever, and then I was so mad at Nikon for not innovating fast enough with stuff, and the Canon stuff was so much more advanced. So I said, screw it, got rid of all my Nikon stuff and went with Canon. And then like 10 years later, Canon was like lacking, and Nikon had some cool stuff. So then I was like wanting to ditch all the Canon stuff and go back to Nikon again. Sorry, we don't want to talk. I apologize for talking about
to the
photography.
99% of people here who have no idea
They
what
have
you're
no
talking
idea what I'm
about.
talking about. They don't want to talk about this stuff. I'm so sorry. Gosh, I don't even know how this happened.
I just thought it was fun to get you on a tangent about cameras for a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to stop talking about it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Lance's bus, didn't it not look kick butt downtown Nashville? That MC5? That was awesome. I can't wait for Lance to start making some money with that bus. So if you're coming to Nashville and you want to do a tour of something, go hang out with Lance on his bus.
And if you do, tell him we sent you.
It's a few $100. I don't know what it costs, but I don't know that I can't say go hang out with Lance, because I don't think, unless you invite him, I guess maybe, but he's not the one driving. He's got drivers that do that. But Lance is a cool dude. I really hope that business works out well for him. And that other bus that they're going to do, the Pink Lady, is that what he called it?
Yeah.
That'll be a cool bus. I think his daughter is really excited to help him work on that project. And being able to work with your kid on something like that, that's really cool. And have her vision for it. I'm really looking forward to that. Oh my gosh, please don't ask anything more about cameras, because I'm going to get slapped. Loving the camera talk. No, you. Yeah, well, like 3 people here probably love the camera talk.
I enjoy
I thought
it.
it was really. Actually, I love flying too. I have my pilot's license. Nobody here
Oh,
probably
we haven't even gotten into that.
haven't even got into that.
You want to tell the story about the time your door flew open?
Oh, the first time I took my mother for a flight in my airplane, and she's so afraid of small airplanes. And what happens? Her door totally pops open. We're like 1,500 feet, and the door just boop, pops right open. I thought she was gonna have a heart attack.
So yeah, if you want to get Dad distracted, cameras or airplanes, throw it in the comments.
I have flown so many kinds of airplanes. I worked at an FBO. I had access to a ton of airplanes. I got to fly in planes. Getting able to fly in a Learjet, a Lear 24, that kind of stuff. I got lots of cool airplane stories.
If anyone wants to donate a DC-3,
DC-3 is my favorite airplane of all
same.
time.
It's mine. It's on top of my safe.
And that's part of the reason I love Lenny so much, because he totally reminds me of a DC-3. And I used to load freight at the airport into DC-3s and Convairs and all kinds of old funky stuff. But the DC-3s were just one of my very favorite things. So
There's a lot of great YouTube channels too about old aircraft, and I love them, like Mustard and stuff like that. I love the history of aviation.
yeah, so like most of my flight time was in a Cessna 150. My brother owned a banner towing company, and I could fly his planes, and I worked for another banner towing company too. I could fly any of their planes. All I had to do is pay for fuel on everything, so I never had that cost for anything. So all my flight school and all that, all I had to do is pay for fuel. So it made it super, super affordable for me. So I was 18 years old when I got my pilot's license. It was, yeah, I have like 600 hours. So I'm not a ton of flight time, but that's a lot for not many.
Well, I mean, how long did you fly for?
Yeah. And then I got my commercial drone license. I thought I was gonna money with my drone stuff. And then I learned that I couldn't book any jobs for drone stuff because everybody was just having their nephew or their niece fly their drone and do what needed to be done illegally. And the people like me that were trying to do it legally got screwed on it. So I didn't have any forced landings, but the company that I worked for, we had many of them. We actually flying low, flying slow.
While towing a sail.
While towing an air brake basically behind you. Yeah.
Didn't you say that plane was amazing to fly without the banner though?
Oh, it was so much fun to fly. It had a 150 horsepower engine in it for a 150, and all the interior was completely gutted on it. So it didn't weigh anything. It had a Bush stall kit on it. You know, I
love
literally
Bush planes. They're awesome.
I could roll 25 feet and be in the air on that thing. Lost a prop at 3,000 feet.
At least you had a little bit of glide.
Yeah,
distance.
that's really bizarre. One of our guys blew out that front main seal, and then you don't think about it. It's not like you can turn on your windshield wipers because there's no such thing. And the windshield was just covered with oil, and he had to come in and land with the windshield covered in thick, nasty oil that you couldn't see. That was horrible. Yeah, we had a bunch. We had a guy that ran out of fuel one time. Totally wasn't his fault, but it was. But I don't think it was his fault. I would have sided with the other. But he came in and landed in a parking lot with a high-wing Cessna and didn't hit a thing. And that night we went out there and took off in the parking lot. We put 10 gallons of fuel in each wing, and he took off out of the parking lot and got back. But the reason the FAA got really mad is because the guy at our FBO went out there. He's an A&P mechanic, and he has a thing that says FAA inspector on his license, which is true. He is an FAA inspector, but he's allowed to sign off on work. But he went out there with the cops and said, "Hey, I'm with the FAA," and he signed all the paperwork for them. So the police never actually contacted the FAA and said that this guy ran out of fuel, which is a major no. So everybody in this whole situation
in aviation.
So I proposed to my wife with an airplane. The company that I work for, they had a lighted sign that was mounted underneath the wing plane.
Did not know this.
And it had a huge scrolling sign that would go. So it was a big marquee sign, and it was in the night sky, and it was just a big light bulb. I don't even think it's legal probably now to fly with the sign, but what it was a block of with a bunch of little squares on it that were all connectors, and the pilot would literally open up a bottle of liquid mercury and pour it in this metal tub that this little light thing had all these little. There were basically contactors in it. For each bulb on the thing had a little square on it. They had little hole punches in it. And as that belt slid through there, wherever the hole punch was, the liquid mercury would complete the contact to turn on the light on the wing. So it was a scrolling sign like that. So here's a pilot flying with like that's how it worked. But yeah, that's how that company did that for me. And they had a policy that if you proposed, yes, I didn't have to worry about that.
I didn't know that, to be honest. I just figured this out.
Yep, that was at the outside at the planetarium in Chicago.
Even better, I didn't know any of this.
Downtown Chicago. That's back when Mix Field was still a thing too. Back then. Have you ever flown in a blimp like the Goodyear blimp? I've seen the Goodyear blimp. We just had our buses out last year, but no, I've not flown in the blimp. I've flown in hot air balloons.
Oh God, I hate hot air balloons. He had one at his photography studio, taking people up, and I got somehow made to go in it. And I hate heights. I don't mind if I'm in a plane, but I hate being in a basket. Two
Feathers just posted something really funny. He said, "Who's going to have their silver sides first, Jason or Scott or my son Tyler?" Jason is a friend of ours who's been looking. He's looked at probably every silver sides available in the country. He's definitely doing his due diligence on finding the right one.
He's got to hurry up if he wants to try to beat me.
And there's somebody here said about ironically landed at a glider club. Oh, that's what he did when his prop fell off. Is that what he did? And I've flown in a glider. Glider is really fun, and our banner plane, that 150 with the 150 horsepower engine in it, that plane got sold to a glider company to do tows for the gliders. I've done gliders with an auto tow where you have like a 1,500-foot long rope tied to the back of a Jeep that's hooked to the glider, and the Jeep just starts hauling ass down the runway, and then as soon as you get enough speed, you just pull back and you go up to the top of the rope, and then you pull the release on it, and then you got 1,500 feet. So you either pick up some thermals or you come back on around and land pretty quick. So,
do you want to buy a glider? Because I'll tow you down the road in my truck.
no thanks. Mommy probably wouldn't let me do it now, anyways.
No,
She says no.
No non-powered aircraft?
no,
Okay. How about overpowered aircraft?
no.
Damn it.
How many silver sides out there are to buy? Well, there's probably at least a dozen of them that I know of that are for sale right now. Ask Jason; he's looked at them all.
Oh, he's right there.
Oh, I'm close. Yeah, I was giving him a hard time on the forum about it. But I didn't mean it to be like an insult thing to him, because he's looking for the one that he wants. Although that one that the engine ran away on, that's probably the best one that I've seen you look at. The engine might be questionable on it, but everything else in that bus looks so clean and solid. But I know you got a lot of issues, and he lives in Canada, and there's a couple of them that he looked at that were really good too, but they had title issues that are not going to be able to come back to Canada. And the last thing you want to do is buy a bus that you can't get back into your country, because that would really suck. Hey Jason, why don't you buy John's bus? Well, John won't sell his bus. John flies too. And I don't know. He's got a bunch of airplanes too, I think, or he's part owners, and that's the way to do it too. If you own an airplane, don't have multiple owners in it. You can't fly it all the time anyways, and it's more fun and cheaper.
Well, if I was going to put X amount of money down to buy one airplane, I'd rather split it over like 5 or 6 than I have 5 or 6 airplanes. You can't just have one of anything, then you get bored.
I flown in a motor glider. That was cool too. That's like one of those, they use the motor just to get up in the air, and then it shuts off and the props fold back on it. Is that what that is? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never actually looked into gliders.
They're amazing, and the technology that they're at now is so far beyond. I mean, the ones that I flew were wood and fabric, and the composite stuff they have out now, and the glide ratios on them are insane. It would be. It's just Indiana's not a great place for soaring, but hello from Nevada. This person said I misburied joke. I hope so, because he's not a very nice person. Okay, we have 176 likes.
And 7 dislikes. But 2 of those are definitely Barry.
Oh, this doesn't show dislikes for me on here.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how many dislikes. That's interesting. Overall, we do have a very high channel ratio. It's like 98% likes to dislikes. I think that's an amazing ratio to have when there's so many negative people on YouTube. It just, that always amazes me.
Oh, good. There's a question from 2 feathers there.
At the new property, we have a house with an RV pad. We're going to have multiple RV pads there.
And then shops.
Yep.
Dad wants a bus shop. I'm probably going to build a shop for some of my automotive stuff. Meet and greet. Not at the new house. Not there. We'll do a meet and greet somewhere.
Jack says, you being a pilot explains the way you are about many things. You just went up a notch in my book, Jack. You know what? A lot of people gave me crap about getting on stage about looking at his gauges. I didn't want him to ruin his bus. I wanted him to save that. And that's not something somebody who's used to driving a car, or even a vehicle that you're familiar with, when it starts making a weird noise or acting weird, you don't know that that's doing that because it's all new to you. You don't know if that's how it is or what's going on. I wanted him to monitor that gauge because I didn't want him to ruin his engine. So I wanted him to get used to looking at that gauge every few seconds. But that, as a pilot, that is something you're always scanning your instruments, because that stuff is like, I don't know why you don't think it's life and death when you're driving down the road, which it should be. But people don't see it that way. That's part of the pilot training, where you get that to monitor your gauges and your instruments and stuff like that. And I didn't want Sage to ruin his bus. So I really wanted him to, I was trying to teach him, although I was kind of aggressive about it, but I only had a 20-minute crash course with him. That's a bad word to use. Crash course.
We had very limited instruction time.
very limited instruction time to teach him how to drive that thing. He's not used to driving anything that big. Everything was different. It felt different. It drove different. The seat position was uncomfortable. He's a big guy. That seat is not comfortable. Driving a non-synchronized stick shift. I mean, there's so many things.
That's air shifted.
Yeah. And, you know, even staying in your own lane, that was very difficult for him because it feels so much wider and longer than what he's used to. And
Keep going.
skip it. I didn't just say that.
It just takes getting used to it. I mean, even when I drive normal vehicles, I'm constantly watching gauges.
I was trying to teach him from my mistakes, and you can ruin that engine by not watching those gauges. And I didn't want him to have an extra $10,000 or $15,000 bill because of that. I didn't. So, as negative as I may have sounded to him, I wasn't. I was just trying to teach him quickly to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Jason, we'll just call him Mailbox. I love you, Sage. I posted on Patreon yesterday the video of the install of the cameras, and Sage had posted on there. Are you still here, Sage? I'm not talking behind your back, so hopefully you're here. But he posted on there, will that help me not hit a mailbox again or whatever? And I wanted to make my comment, which I'll say it now, I'll get in trouble, but I wanted it to be, well, not if you monitor it, like your gauges, because you would have never seen it. But
he did pretty good, though. On the whole way back, he was calling out gauge readings to me. So
yeah, Tyler had the radio with him. I don't know did you cover any of that stuff on your
no,
channel?
so we both had radios on us, like walkie-talkies. I had mine clipped to the seatbelt. He had his, and a way to get to it. But it's a lot better than trying to use a phone. You're not distracted by anything. It's just press the button and go. But I had him calling out gauge readings as we were going down the road. I had him call out oil pressure, engine coolant temp, and speed. And we're also comparing the speed to the truck to see what the GPS speedometer was reading. If there are any problems, if I noticed anything with the bus, if he noticed anything and wanted me to check if I wasn't seeing it. When you're first driving something like this down the road, it's not like we had 2 or 3 days to drive it around town and test it. We had maybe 30 miles on it at most before it hit the road to drive 300 miles, not moving in 30-something years. So you have to take a lot of precautions with that stuff. Like we had a breakdown, we had a problem, and it was something we never even looked at before we left.
Yeah, who would have thought that would have stripped out like that on the?
And someone has tried to repair it and repaired it very poorly. You can't really weld the cast very well.
So yeah, they were just using the little walkie-talkie things that we use.
Yep, they work great though.
Yep, they have like a several mile range. I think I never tried it that far, but that's what the box said. I think he did a great job, and the bus made it back, and that's all that mattered. That's what we were trying to get it to do, and he's a lot more familiar with it, and he's learning as he goes. We're all learning stuff, so.
Yep. Now it's back at Chris's shop, and.
But it was absolutely hilarious when he took out that mailbox. I think for him that he did that though, because then I think he was a lot more you learn from your mistakes. I mean, that's the easiest way to learn. And
best to learn there with that than hitting a car in traffic.
Yeah, or a fire hydrant,
or a person, or
yeah.
anything. Yeah. At least that was just we walked over and straightened it back up.
I almost took out a person this year. I was making a right-hand turn, and we were in a city. And I was in the turn lane turn signal on, and just for a moment of not thinking, when the light turns green, so does the crosswalk on it. So I start to turn, and then as people are walking out, I wasn't mentally prepared for that. So, I mean, be careful with your buses in a city. You're not used to that. I was there first in my mind, and I wasn't paying attention that somebody was on that crosswalk. The light turns green, and you're going to turn because you got the arrow. But now when there's a crosswalk, you got to watch out. I didn't come that close to hitting him. I didn't mean it like that, but I wasn't specifically watching for them, put it that way. They didn't flip me off or anything. I don't know. We should probably think about finishing this. I think we've been on here long enough and boring the crap out of people.
If they stuck through the camera. Good.
I don't know. I didn't see any damage on the bus from the mailbox. The mailbox was just turned, like 40 degrees, and we just went over there and straightened it back out. There was no lid on the mailbox, so I don't know if the door got knocked off, but there was no door for it on the floor, so maybe it didn't have one before.
I don't think it had one before.
But it was turned like 90 degrees sideways. Luckily, it had been raining. I think that's what made the dirt on the.
Yes, the bus is fine.
The bus is fine, and yeah. Sage is fine. Good job getting the bus home, Sage. Have you been here the whole time? Because I didn't see you chime in. If you,
I'm assuming he's still here from earlier. I saw him post earlier.
I literally couldn't even see where that mailbox hit the bus, so it didn't make a scratch, unless it was honestly, the bus was a little dirty.
It cleaned a spot.
Yeah, so maybe it had a clean. Yeah, I didn't notice. I like how everybody thought that bus looks evil and stuff like that.
I mean,
Have you come up with a name for the bus yet, Sage?
a name that we can say on camera.
Oh, I forgot about that name. The best thing about that bus is all the people that were saying to scrap that bus. That was the best thing.
The big screw you to them when we drove it home.
Yeah, still working on the name. Expensive? That can't be the name. That's his middle name.
It's not bad though. It really isn't terrible. I mean, he got a really good deal on buying it, and for everything that's been replaced on it, a lot of that stuff has to be replaced on a lot of them that have been sitting. So you could have paid a little more for one that didn't need the engine mount put in it. But most of the other stuff we had to do would have to be done on any bus you buy that's been sitting for a while. You know, you got to go through. They usually need tires.
And know where fire extinguisher is.
Yeah. Always know where your fire extinguisher is.
Sage sending me to the back. It's in the back. Go get it. It's not back there. I had it over there. I don't know where it is. That's why we were 30 seconds later than Tyler, because we were looking for the fire extinguisher. Good name, Scrap. Scrappy.
Oh, I was just that comment, but
Scott, read the last stand, what you posted? Or she?
where's it at?
Just up a few. It's not in caps.
Okay. Hello, I'm new to your channel. I've enjoyed your videos. A treat to see you and all the old buses. My uncle had a scenic cruiser. I have a quick off-topic question. Do you need a 8V92 or a B500 trans? I don't. I mean, there may be somebody looking for one. Is that what it came out of? Was the scenic cruiser? So it's a right-hand turn. That's probably out of a.
What's the B500?
I assume that's an automatic transmission.
Well, where's the 8V92 located? Because I have somewhere we can put it. And if it's not a terrible drive, I can go get it. So, we could ask Lance what bus he wants to make more power with.
Yeah, well, actually, Lance is going to need a 6V92 with an automatic to go in in the MCI. At some point, he's going to get rid of that manual transmission, just because it's so hard to find drivers to drive the things. He drove it really good the other night, and unfortunately, he had some amazing downshifts that I did not capture on camera. I wish I would have, but he did it great.
Not leaving my bus Lynette.
I remember I had a fire extinguisher when I was in high school, and I'd bought it. And I had it out in the garage, and my dad's like, no, you should put it in the house. Like, most fires are in the kitchen. So I'm like, well, okay, what the heck. Next thing you know, I'm working on my Volkswagen Beetle, and I just put a new engine in it, and there's a fuel line connection in the back that I didn't have it quite right, and right under it is the exhaust. So I started it for the first time. It was running just fine. Fuel had been dripping out of there on the hot exhaust, ignited, caught fire, and there was a puddle on the floor. So next thing you know, my Volkswagen in the garage is on fire all over the floor. I go running up the stairs. We had a 2-story to the back door, open the door. My dad's in the kitchen. I yell at him, Dad, I need the fire extinguisher. And he literally says, what do you need it for? I'm like, if somebody's yelling at you, I need the fire extinguisher. You know, what do you need it for? That's a complete waste of time.
Your garage is burning down. Give me the fire extinguisher.
So I learned something very important about fire extinguishers that day, because I immediately get out there and I go to put the fire out, and it's under the bus. So I turn the fire extinguisher like upside down because it didn't have a nozzle on it. But when you turn it upside down, like, the propellant charge comes out and nothing else does, and then you have a fire extinguisher that does absolutely nothing.
CO2 fire extinguisher would work
So
there, though.
luckily we had just a snow, and we had like a big sled that was sitting outside the garage that was filled with snow. So I had like 4 inches of snow and like a 4-foot long by 2-foot wide, I don't know what it is, sled. And I picked that sled up and I threw that snow from that, and it put out most of it. And then I just grabbed a snow shovel and threw more snow on top of it and put the fire out. Which you're not supposed to, I guess, but I'm supposed to use water on a gasoline fire, but
It's
snow,
solid water, though.
Snow works. I saw my life pass before my eyes, because if I would have burned down my dad's garage, I would have been dead.
That garage wasn't very big either. It had the wall in the shop up then, didn't it? So it was just like the one bay.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw a car parked in there the entire time I remember that house.
Oh, somebody else being bad.
Yep. Somebody else got in trouble.
I have 2 fire extinguishers on my bus. Sage had 3. Didn't he have 3?
Yeah, I have one in every one of my vehicles. I have one on each side of my garage. I keep them everywhere. I have a really bad tendency of catching myself on fire. I set my Corvette on fire in the garage. I was welding a bracket on the side of the motor, and I forgot the front cross member was filled with oil from a leaking power steering pump that I fixed. And I've got my welding mask on. I'm welding this bracket up that had a crack through it, and my hands are getting hot. And I'm like, what's that about? So I stop welding. I flip my hood up, and there are flames wrapping up around the side of the engine in the Corvette. And I'm like, oh god.
I remember that time I caught Phil on fire. Remember that like it was just a couple weeks ago.
Remember that time you caught yourself on fire with a bonfire?
Oh, that was really, yeah. When you ignite yourself and then you walk out to the yard the next day and there's literally an outline of you in the grass. It's all dead grass except for where you were at, and you see like your shadow on the ground because you stopped the grass from getting burned. That's fun. I don't know where we're at here with questions. We haven't really been answering questions. I think I'm really far behind. I apologize if you've asked a question that I did not get to.
I think it's about time we go ahead and just wrap it up anyway.
Yes.
Because we're almost to, is that 118 minutes?
That is. That's 2 hours long, which nobody's ever going to want to rewatch this chat. So, okay. Yeah, I think we'll finish up, guys. And ladies, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, and I mean the 70,000 thing, that's an honor for us. Really excited about that. It'll be fun to get to 100,000. I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll just continue to try and grow and produce the content that we're doing, and keep the cool jobs coming up. And you know, we got a crazy next couple of months coming up with clients that are booked and jobs and stuff like that. So,
and if we end up with this property, there's some really cool things in the works for that I think you guys are going to like too. A lot of cool stuff.
Yep, but I'll still travel around in a bus and work on buses. So, but it's just a matter of having a better home base that's more. So if I decide to rebuild my engine, I don't have the HOA getting really mad at me.
They didn't even say a word to us.
I understand, but I guarantee you all of our neighbors,
Sent letters?
They're not happy.
No, your neighbor on the one side is perfectly happy they don't live there.
All right. Hey, thanks again. Appreciate it. You guys, I'll have a good night, okay? And we'll have another video tomorrow because hopefully this Eagle will be running very soon.
And I should have a video in the next day or two, depending on when I get done on Lance's stuff.
And then we'll figure out what that oil leak gas thing is that's going on Lance's. I'm pretty sure it's old gasoline, so can't think what else we got. But if you have not subscribed to
Iconic
Metalworks.
They just posted a video during this chat, and I think it was of the tensioner they made for us today.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, subscribe to his channel. I really want to see him grow and what he's doing. That metal work that he's doing on that T-Bird is crazy. We didn't notice it until we talked to him today, but like the T-Bird panels, those are all, they're not bolt on.
Yeah, the fenders don't bolt on that car. They're welded on.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So, again, I feel like we're done. I gotta say bye and press the button. I gotta hang up on you. Sorry. All right, we'll talk to you later.
Have a good one, guys. Hit the button. You
I'm
got
trying.
this.